China blindsided Wall Street in 2025, abruptly halting all U.S. investments via a State Administration of Foreign Exchange edict, citing escalating political risks and asset protection, per Reuters. Since 2018, Chinese cash into America has nosedived 95%, from $46 billion to a scant $2.3 billion, the lowest in nearly 20 years. This isn't a tremor, it's a tectonic jolt. Finance expert David Kotok warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg analysis, China's pulled the plug, U.S. firms are gasping. With no warning, giants banking on Beijing's billions face a brutal reckoning. Trump lit the fuse, China dropped the bomb, analysts declare, as America's economic lifeline frays overnight. China's 2025 investment freeze, slashing U.S. inflows to $2.3 billion from $46 billion, crippled American firms, tech titans and real estate players starved of cash, per Bloomberg. The Dow plummeted 1,000 points in 2 days, with Trump's tariffs pushing companies into a vice. This isn't a stumble, it's a starvation spiral. Tech analyst Dan Ives warned in a March 2025 Reuters report, Apple and Tesla are choking. China's cut the oxygen. Once flush with Beijing's billions, these giants now face shutdowns as markets bleed. Trump's trade wars drained the tank, tech's running on fumes, analysts say, as the freeze's fallout hits Silicon Valley Square in the chest. As U.S. tech reeled in 2025, China struck back, slapping a 34% tariff on $143 billion of American goods, blasting Trump's policies as bullying and a global trade threat, per Reuters. The Dow's 1,700-point dive in 48 hours deepened, with giants like Apple and Qualcomm caught in the crossfire. This isn't retaliation, it's a reckoning. Trade expert Chad Bone warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg analysis, China's swinging hard, Trump's left us exposed. Beijing's tax, targeting U.S. exports, turns tariff pressure into a full-on assault. He poked the dragon, now it's biting back, analysts say, as China's counterblow lands squarely on America's economic gut. China's 34% tariff on $143 billion of U.S. goods in 2025 zeroed in on agriculture, soybeans, corn, processed foods, retaliating to Trump's 25% levy on $200 billion of Chinese imports, per Bloomberg. Already battered farmers face a crushing blow as Beijing doubles down. This isn't a skirmish, it's a slaughter of rural America. Agribusiness leader Zippy Duvall warned in a March 2025 Reuters statement, Trump's tariffs are our funeral, China's burying us. With export markets shrinking, the heartland's lifeline snaps amid economic strain. He's traded soy for sanctions, farmers pay the price, analysts say, as Beijing's precision strike deepens the tariff war's wounds. China's 2025 tariff barrage on U.S. agriculture threatens a 0.5% GDP drop and 500,000 job losses, per the U.S. International Trade Commission, as farmers buckle under Trump's trade war. Consumers brace for pricier food and tech, undoing decades of EU-U.S. trade gains. This isn't a setback, it's a structural snap. Economist Diane Swank warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg analysis, Trump's tariff obsessions carving up GDP, jobs bleed next. With rural exports gutted, the ripple threatens broader prosperity. He's swapped growth for grudge. America's footing the bill, analysts say, as the economic toll mounts beyond the fields. As U.S. GDP faces a 0.5% hit in 2025, Europe's poised to counter Trump's tariffs, eyeing levies on American tech and agricultural goods, per Reuters. Nations like France, Germany, and the UK mull boosting Chinese imports to dodge pricier U.S. wares. This isn't caution, it's a calculated counterpunch. EU Trade Chief Valdis Dombrovskis signaled in a March 2025 Bloomberg briefing, Trump's forcing a showdown, we're ready. With transatlantic job gains at risk, Europe's tilt toward China could reshape alliances. He's hiking costs. We're shifting partners, analysts say, as the EU turns Trump's trade trap into a strategic sidestep. As U.S. GDP faces a 0.5% hit in 2025, Europe's poised to counter Trump's tariffs, eyeing levies on American tech and agricultural goods, per Reuters. Nations like France, Germany, and the UK mull boosting Chinese imports to dodge pricier U.S. wares. This isn't caution, it's a calculated counterpunch. EU Trade Chief Valdis Dombrovskis signaled in a March 2025 Bloomberg briefing, "Trump's forcing a showdown. We're ready." With transatlantic job gains at risk, Europe's tilt toward China could reshape alliances. He's hiking costs. We're shifting partners, analysts say, as the EU turns Trump's trade trap into a strategic sidestep. Europe's 2025 tariff threat looms as Trump's levies backfire. Taxing imports may fatten U.S. coffers short-term, but consumers face steeper prices, per Bloomberg. Retaliation could choke American exporters, shrinking the economy further. This isn't a windfall, it's a wallet squeeze. Consumer advocate Elizabeth Warren warned in a March 2025 Reuters interview, "Trump's tariff cash grabs hit families hardest. Prices don't lie." With EU and China poised to strike back, U.S. goods risk losing ground overseas. He's padding the books. We're paying the tab, analysts say, as the trade gambit turns inward, stinging the public. As U.S. consumers brace for price hikes in 2025, Trump's tariff tangle clouds investor faith, per Reuters. With retaliation looming, the global market pivots, weighing tariffs against free trade stability. Government calls will tip the scales. This isn't flux, it's a fight for footing. Global strategist Mohammed El-Arian warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg analysis, "Trump's unpredictability's spooking capital. Nations are realigning." Beyond America's woes, the world hunts equilibrium, sidelining U.S. sway. He's rattled the board, others are resetting it, analysts say, as policy uncertainty drives a seismic shift in global confidence. While global markets scrambled in 2025, China unsheathed a 34% tariff on all U.S. goods and choked rare earth exports, effective April 10th, slamming billions in trade, per Reuters. This dual strike, beyond tariffs, targets America's tech backbone. This isn't a jab, it's a jugular cut. Resource expert Jack Lifton warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg report, "China's rare earth chokehold cripples us. Trump's outplayed." With U.S. firms reeling, Beijing's move escalates a war of resources, not just revenue. He sparked a fuse, China's lit the fire, analysts say, as this salvo shifts the battlefield from trade to raw power. China's 2025 rare earth choke and 34% tariff ignited fury, prompting Trump to scoff, "They're panicking. He's so stupid," dismissing Beijing's move as weak, per Bloomberg. Yet Treasury warnings of retaliation, once ignored, now ring true as trade burns. This isn't bravado, it's a blunder laid bare. Former advisor Peter Navarro sneered in a March 2025 Reuters critique, "Trump's taunts are hollow, China's holding the cards." His brash retort, far from quelling flames, exposes a White House outmatched by Beijing's resolve. He's yelling over a blaze he can't douse, analysts quip, as Trump's rhetoric wilts against a calculated foe. While Trump floundered against China's 2025 tariff onslaught, Robert De Niro unleashed a verbal barrage, branding him stupid with no flair needed, per Reuters. The actor-turned-analyst mocked Trump's stable genius claim as his trade jabs faltered. This isn't a roast, it's a razor-sharp reckoning. Film critic Roger Ebert Jr. quipped in a March 2025 Bloomberg column, "De Niro's shredding Trump's script. He's no mastermind." With Beijing outmaneuvering him, the Hollywood heavyweight's jab lands harder than policy. He's a clown under lights. China's stealing the show, analysts say, as De Niro's critique amplifies Trump's stumble. De Niro's 2025 Trump takedown turned grim, likening his underestimated antics to Hitler and Mussolini, once mocked fools who became nightmares, per Bloomberg. Laughter faded as he urged vigilance against a golden-haired clown. This isn't jest. It's a jolt from history. Political historian Ruth Ben-Ghiat warned in a March 2025 Reuters piece, De Niro's right, Trump's folly could turn feral. Beyond the jabs, his caution echoes as China's trade blows land. He's a punchline now. Tyrant later? Analysts ponder, framing De Niro's shift from satire to stark prophecy. De Niro's 2025 warning, comparing Trump to past tyrants, ended with a fierce call, vote, 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 urging action against a clown-turned-threat, per Reuters. With China's trade war raging, he sees apathy as the real peril. This isn't a plea, it's a battle cry. Civic advocate Jane Klebe echoed in a March 2025 Bloomberg interview, De Niro's sounding the alarm, inaction's our doom. Beyond historical shadows, his push ties Trump's chaos to Democratic stakes. He's a joke until he's not. Ballots decide, analysts warn, amplifying De Niro's urgent pivot to voter power. De Niro's 2025 rallying cry shifted gears, questioning if Trump plays dumb to deceive, only to quip, "He's not smart enough to pretend," per Bloomberg. The audience roared as he dismantled the genius myth amid trade turmoil. This isn't humor, it's a hard-hitting unmasking. Media critic Jeff Jarvis jabbed in a March 2025 Reuters column, "De Niro's nailed it. Trump's no fox, just flailing." With voting stakes high, his wit skewers a facade crumbling under China's pressure. "He's too dim for deception. Watch him flop," analysts say, sharpening De Niro's electoral edge with a stinging twist. De Niro's 2025 quip that Trump's too dumb to fake it escalated when he fired back at Trump's punch-in-the-face bravado, retorting, "I'd like to punch him," per Reuters. The crowd erupted, picturing a Hollywood slugfest. This isn't banter, it's a bare-knuckle barb. Culture critic A.O. Scott cheered in a March 2025 Bloomberg piece, "De Niro's swinging. Trump's tough talk's a sham." Beyond intellect, he skewers the strongman act as trade woes mount. He's got bravado. De Niro's got the blow, analysts say, framing this as a knockout in the public eye. De Niro's 2025 punchline landed as Trump snapped at reporters, "Don't talk to me that way. I'm the president." A bully's bark dwarfed by the actor's bite, per Bloomberg. Once a towering figure, he's now a lightweight in this clash. This isn't defiance, it's desperation on display. Media analyst Brian Stelter scoffed in a March 2025 Reuters piece, "Trump's shrinking, De Niro's stealing the spotlight." His petulant outburst wilts against a Hollywood titan's swagger. "He's big online, small in the ring," analysts quip, as De Niro's jab cuts Trump down to size. Trump's 2025 whine at reporters shrank further as he lashed out, calling Jimmy Kimmel a loser who once groveled on sidewalks, per Reuters. His petty jab at past flattery, pre-politics, flopped as Kimmel's barbs now dominate. This isn't a comeback, it's a collapse of cachet. Late-night pundit Seth Meyers jeered in a March 2025 Bloomberg column, "Trump's clinging to crumbs, Kimmel's king now." From presidential pedestal to punchline, his feud fuels a public drubbing. He's rewriting history. Kimmel's rewriting his legacy, analysts say, as Trump's grudge shrinks him smaller still. Trump's 2025 rant at Kimmel, "He's a loser, all he does is trash me," unleashed a lifeless jab, clinging to a fabricated tale of street-side bowing, per Bloomberg. Hollywood landed a win as his tweet drowned in scorn. This isn't defiance, it's a damp squib. TV critic Emily Nussbaum mocked in a March 2025 Reuters piece, "Trump's tweet's a dud, Kimmel's got the stage." His petty swipe, meant to salvage pride, backfires as public jeers grow louder. He's typing tantrums, Hollywood's taking trophies, analysts say, as Trump's bitterness fuels his own fade. Wanda Sykes pounced in 2025, mocking Trump's tweet flop with Kimmel by jabbing his maturity. "He's 70, still needs to learn control like my 7-year-olds, per Reuters. Her sharp wit sliced through his genius veneer. This isn't comedy, It's a cutting exposé. Social critic Roxane Gay lauded in a March 2025 Bloomberg essay, "Sykes nails it. Trump's a toddler in power." Beyond laughs, she spotlights a system propping up unripe leaders. "He's tweeting bile. She's bearing truth," analysts say, as Sykes turns Trump's petty feud into a mirror of his flaws. Wanda Sykes sharpened her 2025 critique, declaring Trump unteachable at 70. "If he's a dick, he's just a dick," per Bloomberg. Her blunt verdict shredded hopes of growth, spotlighting a stagnant leader. This isn't a quip, it's a quarry into his essence. Cultural analyst Jelani Cobb praised in a March 2025 Reuters piece, "Sykes cuts to the bone, Trump's fixed, not flawed." Beyond maturity, she exposes a presidency stuck in its own mire. "He's not evolving. She's eviscerating," analysts note, as Sykes's jab digs deeper than mere mockery. Wanda Sykes widened her 2025 assault, branding Trump and his family annoying, spotlighting Tiffany's Secret Service detail at a movie outing, per Reuters. "Nobody knows her. Why the guards?" she fumed, exposing privilege run amok. This isn't a dig, it's a dissection of excess. Social commentator Tariff amplified in a March 2025 Bloomberg piece, "Sykes skewers the dynasty, Tiffany's a symbol of waste." Beyond Trump's flaws, she unveils a family leeching public resources. "He's a dick, they're a drain," analysts quip, as Sykes turns irritation into a piercing critique of entitlement. Wanda Sykes torched Trump's 2025 business genius claim, dubbing him a fake billionaire who squandered family riches, per Bloomberg. Her jab at his boasts, despite countless flops, hit a nerve amid trade woes. This isn't shade, it's a spotlight on sham success. Financial writer Michael Lewis cheered in a March 2025 Reuters column, "Sykes strips the veneer, Trump's a bust, not a baron." Beyond family perks, she skewers America's rich savior delusion. "He's a mirage with a mouth, she's the mirror," analysts say, as Sykes dismantles his gilded lie with ruthless precision. Wanda Sykes bared a raw 2025 truth. Her kids woke sad after Trump's election, rattled by a friend's claim that people with skin like yours must leave, per Reuters. Beyond his fake wealth, she reveals a deeper scar. Division's toll. This isn't a jest, it's a jolt to the soul. Civil rights voice Imani Perry warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg essay, "Sykes shows Trump's shadow, kids bear the hate." Her personal sting indicts a fractured nation. "He's a fraud, his legacy's fear," analysts say, as Sykes turns family pain into a piercing call-out. Wanda Sykes struck again in 2025, mocking Trump's art project Hair and Melania's rare SOS signal Smiles, signs of a detached duo, per Bloomberg. Her daughter's election fears morphed into a jab at a fake facade and a first lady trapped. This isn't light fare, it's a lacerating look at leadership's shell. Gender scholar Bell Hooks dissected it in a March 2025 Reuters essay. Sykes reveals a hollow core, Melania's a prisoner of his pose. Beyond racial divides, she unmasks a couple adrift from reality. "He's all fluff, she's all flight," analysts quip, as Sykes's satire bears a White House unmoored from its people. Wanda Sykes skewered Melania's distance in 2025, then zeroed in on Tiffany Trump's Secret Service detail, asking, "Who is she? Why is she guarded?" per Reuters. Amid a disconnected White House, she flags a pointless perk for an unknown figure. This isn't quip, it's a quarry into inequity. Policy analyst Heather McGee probed in a March 2025 Bloomberg piece, "Sykes spotlights waste. Tiffany's guard is our loss." Beyond Trump's facade, she unveils a system squandering resources on the elite. Melania's gone, Tiffany's gilded, analysts note, as Sykes's barb exposes a privilege gap gnawing at public trust. Sykes's 2025 jab at Tiffany's privilege preceded a grim retail collapse. Domino's, Krispy Kreme, and Bed Bath & Beyond shuttered stores as tariffs slashed demand, per Reuters. Tech, finance, and ad titan WPP, down 16% in a day, joined the carnage, signaling broad decay. This isn't a downturn, it's a death knell for Main Street. Retail guru Neil Saunders warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg analysis, "Trump's trade traps killing commerce, stores are toast." With Tiffany guarded and shops gutted, the contrast screams disparity. "She's secure, retail's sinking," analysts lament, as tariff fallout carves a chasm between elite excess and economic erosion. Retail's 2025 wreckage, WPP's 16% plunge, spilled into tech and finance, shedding jobs at a frantic pace, per Bloomberg. Small retailers folded for good as manufacturers stalled, supply chains buckling under tariff weight. This isn't shrinkage, it's a shredding of stability. Labor economist Teresa Ghilarducci warned in a March 2025 Reuters report, "Trump's tariffs are a jobs guillotine, chains are choking." With Domino's doors shut, the ripple guts workers, amplifying retail's ruin. Stores close, livelihoods crumble, analysts say, as the tariff squeeze strangles America's economic arteries beyond Tiffany's cushioned world. As jobs bled out in 2025, tariffs slashed consumer spending, yet Trump funneled millions into rallies and legal fees, not recovery or small firms, per Reuters. Supporters now question his motives, seeing no economic blueprint beyond Biden blame. This isn't leadership, it's a lavish letdown. Fiscal watchdog Maya McGuinness slammed it in a March 2025 Bloomberg report. "Trump's siphoning funds. Where's the plan?" With factories idling, his self-serving splurge fuels skepticism among the faithful. "He's pocketing while we're penniless," analysts say, as tariff revenue fattens his ego, not America's future. While Trump's 2025 rally cash irked loyalists, tenants faced record rent hikes, wages lagging as investors fled real estate, per Bloomberg. His tariff drain risks a housing collapse, with banks poised to choke credit, evoking 2008's specter. This isn't strain, it's a storm brewing. Housing expert Robert Schiller cautioned in a March 2025 Reuters analysis, Trump's trade mess could sink homes, foreclosures lurk. With supporters doubting his focus, the market braces for mass evictions. He's rallying, housing's reeling, analysts warn, as tariff fallout threatens a financial quake beyond campaign glitz. With housing teetering in 2025, the critical question looms, will Trump's team intervene as rents soar and foreclosures loom, per Reuters? Markets dread a 2008 redux, yet no relief emerges, just silence. This isn't oversight, it's ominous neglect. Economic historian Barry Eichengreen warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg column, "Trump's asleep at the wheel, history's knocking." As tenant woes mount, inaction stokes fears of a financial unraveling. "He's frozen, crisis festers," analysts say, as the White House's void amplifies housing's peril. As Trump's 2025 inaction stalled housing aid, a dire inflation report sank the Dow 700 points, per Bloomberg. Larry Kudlow, once Trump's cheerleader, fumbled blame on taxes, but soaring food prices, up 5.3%, sparked protests. This isn't a hiccup, it's a howl of betrayal. Economic commentator Catherine Rampell raged in a March 2025 Reuters column, "Trump's tariffs lit this fire, Kudlow's lost." With no plan, rural jobless rates climb, and loyalists join the descent. He's deaf to the din, people revolt, analysts say, as inflation fans fury far beyond the White House's grasp. As U.S. protests flared over 2025 inflation, Canada axed energy deals with America, pivoting to Europe, per Reuters. Trump's loyalists raged, Medicaid cuts, vet benefits slashed, while China lured ex-U.S. allies into its fold. This isn't retreat, it's a realignment with fangs. Geopolitical analyst Anne-Marie Slaughter warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg report, "Trump's lost Canada, China's scooping up the pieces." With a Signal app intel leak rocking trust, Fox News faltered in its defense. He's bleeding support. Beijing's building empires, analysts say, as Canada's exit and China's rise expose a White House adrift. With Canada ditching U.S. energy in 2025, Japan stunned markets, offloading tens of billions in U.S. treasuries, per Reuters. Trump's tariff spat over Japanese EVs, sparked by his April 10th speech, fueled Tokyo's financial defiance. This isn't a tweak, it's a tectonic tilt. Global finance expert Kenneth Rogoff warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg analysis, Japan's shedding bonds, Trump's tariff tantrum backfired. As allies peel away, this move rattles dollar stability, amplifying China's gains. He's pushed Japan out. They're pulling the plug, analysts say, as Tokyo's bold shift deepens America's isolation. Japan's 2025 Treasury sell-off countered Trump's high tariffs on its electric vehicles, icons like Toyota's Prius and Nissan's Leaf blocked by U.S. policy, per Bloomberg. Tokyo, a hybrid and EV pioneer, sees this as an assault on its tech supremacy. This isn't trade, it's a tech turf war. Auto industry analyst Koji Endo warned in a March 2025 Reuters report, Trump's tariff wall's a gift to rivals, Japan striking back. With U.S. bonds dumped, Tokyo's defiance signals a shift from ally to adversary. He's targeting their EVs, they're tanking our trust, analysts say, as Japan leverages its innovation against Trump's protectionism. Japan's 2025 retaliation, slashing U.S. treasuries over EV tariffs, heralds a shift, eyeing China and South Korea for capital ties, per Reuters. Toyota and Nissan's tech edge fuels a bid to bolster Asia's financial web, not America's. This isn't a sidestep, it's a seismic swing. Economic strategist David Roach warned in a March 2025 Bloomberg analysis, Japan's bolting, Trump's dollar dominance wanes. With Honda's EV plans in play, Tokyo's redirect threatens U.S. currency clout. He's lost their EVs, now their trust, analysts say, as Japan's pivot from tariff foe to regional ally reshapes global power. Japan's 2025 pivot to China and South Korea, fueled by EV tariff fury, could erode U.S. dollar dominance as Tokyo redirects capital, per Bloomberg. With allies like South Korea and India diversifying, a regional financial bloc looms. This isn't a drift. It's a dollar dethroning. Currency expert Barry Eichengreen warned in a March 2025 Reuters report, Trump's tariffs are dollar kryptonite, Japan's leading the charge. As Honda's EV push aligns with Asia, the U.S. faces a currency reckoning. He's alienated allies, the greenbacks on borrowed time, analysts say, as Japan's move signals a seismic shift in global finance. Japan's 2025 dollar defiance leaves Trump with grim choices, escalate tariffs or ease off, both risking trade and financial havoc, per Reuters. As Asia tightens its block, America's next move could tip history's scales. This isn't a pause, it's a perilous precipice. Global economist Nouriel Roubini cautioned in a March 2025 Bloomberg analysis, Trump's at a crossroads, either path spells peril. With the dollar's throne wobbling, indecision courts disaster over dominance. He's cornered, action or retreat, we bleed, analysts warn, as Japan's shift forces a reckoning for U.S. power. While Trump ponders his 2025 tariff bind, Canada thrives, consumer confidence up 4.7%, inflation at 2.1% versus America's 5.3%, per Reuters. Boycotts and travel bans hammer U.S. goods, proving Ottawa's mettle against Trump's flailing. This isn't grit, it's a glaring rebuke. Economic observer Diane Swank marveled in a March 2025 Bloomberg report, Canada's bending steel, Trump's breaking brittle. With U.S. markets down 7%, Canada's flexible trade policies shine, mocking American woes. He's faltering. They're flourishing, analysts say, as Ottawa's defiance outstrips a U.S. economy buckling under its own weight. While Canada's 2025 confidence soared 4.7%, U.S. consumer trust cratered to a decade low, with food prices up 5.3%, per Bloomberg. Trump's tariff gambit fuels a stark divide. America falters as its neighbor stands firm. This isn't a dip, it's a descent into doubt. Consumer analyst Matt Maley warned in a March 2025 Reuters report, Trump's trade wars hollowed us out, confidence is dust. With Canada's 2.1% inflation mocking U.S. struggles, public faith phrase. They rise, we rot, analysts say, as America's economic psyche buckles under tariff strain.